guys, it's Jessica, and today, I feel like I've got like too much saliva in my mouth. You guys ever feel that way where you're like, oh, Anyway, today we are doing a drugstore haul. This is old school, and I always call some of these hauls old school because don't you miss the days, like if you've been watching YouTube for years and years, like so much of what is sent to all YouTubers, myself included, is PR. And that's wonderful when it comes to being able to get reviews out there, things like that. But at the same time, there's something to be said of, you know, going to a store and buying things that you picked out. And so like for me, I love watching YouTubers talk about like genuinely being at the store and picking things out. So, and if you're new to YouTube, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But regardless, so I was at a store near me called Meijer, which is like, it's a grocery store, superstore kind of a place. In some areas of the Midwest, it's where we shop for so much. I wish it were worldwide because I feel bad that I talk about it, but they always get new releases pretty quickly. And so I was just there strolling, and Tyler was with me, and we're strolling the aisles, and I'm like, there's so much new stuff. There was new Almay stuff, new Covergirl stuff, new Revlon stuff. Oh, I already said Almay. L'Oreal, Milani, I mean, so much. So I am so excited. I bought a bunch of the stuff. I'm wearing a bunch of it today as well. Let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, and of course, if you enjoyed this kind of video, I hope you'll subscribe and stick around. And okay, now for real. First thing, just to get it out of the way, I bought a little tiny thing of Vaseline Lip Therapy. I have been carrying around a tub of Vaseline because my lips were like windburned from our trip to Disney. It was just kind of windy and my lips got so windburnt. And so I'd been using just Vaseline, but I was like, I kind of want a smaller tub. And I figure I could even clean this out when it's done and put more Vaseline in it. I would have to assume this is just Vaseline. They maybe added another ingredient or two, although I don't see an ingredients list. So I kind of, maybe this is, I don't know. Regardless, Vaseline, it's irreplaceable when it comes to things like that. Like I think two of my sisters use Vaseline exclusively on their lips. And I think from what I've learned about Vaseline, it's not necessarily that Vaseline itself has like healing properties. It's more that it protects your lips from all the environmental factors out there. And because of that, your lips can kind of heal themselves with that protective barrier on. Does that make sense? That's how I've been kind of taught that it works. I don't know if that's 100% true. Regardless, there's no replacement for it. So anyway, very excited to have a tiny one. Alrighty, let's start with the thing that I was like, genuinely probably out of all of this the most excited about, and that would be these palettes from Almay. I only bought one, but I think I only saw two, so I would assume they only have two out. This is called Naturalista, and it's very neutral. I would say a much cooler toned palette, but again, I've been telling you guys I'm kind of getting into more cooler toned looks lately. I've been doing a lot of warm tone for a long time. And I am a neutrals girl through and through. Of course, I'm saying that and I have like bluish on my, I was just trying something new today. And poor Tyler had to deal with my wrath because I'm like trying this blue eyeshadow. I'm like, and then I'm putting lashes on and like the lashes I was putting on were ridiculous looking on me. So then I've got glue everywhere and I'm like, so he came in, I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm losing it over here trying to do my makeup today. Anyway, wow, that was a tangent as usual. But here's what I'll say about this. This whole haul, it's all gonna be, I've only used all of these products a couple of times. So this truly is just my first impressions, but I will plan to do a haul update as I usually do, maybe in a month or 2 months time. That way you can see like, okay, now that I've used it for quite a while, here's genuinely my review of it and if I think it's worth buying or not, depending on if you need it. But I still wanted to give my thoughts on this. So the shimmers, this is a very classic drugstore palette. And I don't mean that in a mean way because I found tons of drugstore palettes that I like. I think you can get decent pigmentation with it, but it kicks up a lot of powder. Now the other thing is there are crazy expensive palettes like the Natasha Denona palette that kicks up a ton of powder and yet it's still really expensive and it's still really high quality. I mean it is, I don't know why I put it in quotes. But, you know, so I can't always knock a product because of the powdery kickback. I'm kind of learning that as I try more and more and more. But you do need to be careful with it. Now, I am wearing a little bit of this. Obviously, the blue shadow is not from in here. But, like, I'm wearing this deeper brown in my crease to kind of blend that blue together. The nude I'm wearing on my brow bone, and I put it down before I put the blue on. And I think I used a little of this kind of neutrally light color. It's like a gray almost, to kind of blend some of the stuff together. So I like the palette. I've only used it a handful of times. I think it's better than like the Covergirl. No, not the Covergirl. What were the ones that I hated? Oh, the Maybelline ones. I hated that one. It was like the rose. Was it the rose? No, I'm thinking of Covergirl. The Covergirl ones I think are good. They remind me of this. Are Almay and Covergirl owned by the same company? I feel like these are the same exact formulas because this feels a lot like those Covergirl palettes, and I like those. And I would recommend those. So those are my initial 2 thoughts. I think it's worth looking into. Again, they're overpriced. All of the drugstores just deciding, it's like they all met together and they said, hey guys, I know we've been charging like $5 to $9 for everything. Let's charge like $10 to $20 now. Because everything, and I think literally everything I bought was easily around $13, $14, $15 each. And I'm like, this is getting crazy. Like it's getting genuinely expensive. So that's kind of heartbreaking, but that's why I'm here to tell you guys what's worth your money and what's not, especially as prices get higher. All right, so I saw that Covergirl had this whole new line. I think I bought everything. It's their Vitalist Healthy line. So there's like some highlighters, a little like luminizing lotion, a shadow base, a powder, and a setting spray. At least that's all I saw at my store, so I bought it all. So I have used all of this and I'm wearing a lot of it today. So the powder I'm wearing, this is their Vitalist Healthy Powder. I got it in the shade 710 Classic Ivory. It kind of looks dark. And I will say, like I put it on and obviously I'm decently fair. It's definitely a little too dark for me. It works just fine. I will say this though, I am a huge proponent of putting a sponge into this and kind of applying it that way because it really covers, especially if you have a nose like mine that's got redness that peeps throughout the day. And this is it's got high coverage, but it's nice and thin. And I think that's pretty cool because it doesn't end up looking too cakey. I mean, it's still a powder. It's still going to show up as a powder in light. This is no different, but I was kind of pleasantly surprised with this. So if you can find your shade, I think it's worth it. They didn't seem to have very many shades in this range. I don't know if they're kind of testing the water, see how it does before they formulate new shades. I don't know. I also got their Vitalist Go Glow Luminizing Lotion. I really like the packaging they're doing with this, the simplified white and black. I don't know. I just like that more minimalist kind of look. So this is definitely something you could mix in with a primer or foundation. I honestly love luminizing lotions. I use one a couple times a week, and I like to just put them all over my face before I put on my foundation, because I think, you know, if you've got dry or even normal skin and you like that kind of dewy look but not like crazy like wet look, this is the perfect way to do it, because your foundation is going to tone down most of this, but it still leaves a little bit to be seen from underneath, and that's the way I always use these kinds of products. And honestly, I feel like a lot of these are kind of created equal. They're not, you know, they're not meant to be worn alone as like a strip of highlight. You know, it's really is meant to be either mixed in or worn underneath. But, you know, there's a little bit of that moisturizing lotion type quality to these types of products. And I did like it. This was in the shade number 1, Daybreak. So this one I was wearing yesterday. I'm actually just really quickly going to talk about a L'Oreal product. And that's actually what I'm wearing underneath my foundation. This is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. And I have it in the shade 901. And I think I like this one a little bit more. It is a little bit of a lighter tone, but I think it packs a little bit more of a punch than that one does. And that could be because of my skin tone. You know, this is much fairer than I am, and that's why it maybe looks, but I'm wearing it underneath and I feel like it did do a good job. I'm going to tell you right now, I have 3 foundations to tell you about, and it was miserable. Maybe that's what put me in the bad mood. And I'll talk about it in a second, but putting on my foundation today was miserable. I can't wait to tell you. But I was putting it on top of this, and I think this at least looked really nice. We'll get there. Anyway, so I think out of the 2, I would recommend the L'Oreal one over this. I think it was just a little bit, I don't know, it felt a little more luxurious going on my skin as well. Like I feel like it really blended in, and I went to the bathroom really quickly right after I put this on before foundation, and I was looking in the mirror and I was like, I feel like I could wear just this and no foundation. My skin looked so healthy and glowy, and even though there were little spots I would definitely want to conceal, that's like the only time I've ever thought that in my life about like anything. So that was weird. And I do want to try that someday soon, maybe this weekend, just to see like, how does that look? Because it was so nice and glowy, but it wasn't too much. Anyway, I'll shut up. But I really like the L'Oreal one best. So I also got the Covergirl Lock Up All Day Setting Mist. The mister on this is pretty good, actually. It's nice and fine. I mean, they know that we're all snobby buttheads about it. And if they had come out with a sprayer that was subpar, we would have all not had anything to do with it. Like, no one would have bought it. It has a very strong smell. It's like a florally cucumbery, maybe kind of a smell, maybe more like melon cucumber. I don't like that smell. I mean, not enough that I won't use it, but it's certainly not my cup of tea. I know a lot of people like that kind of a smell. Definitely fresh, definitely a fresh smell. It was okay. I mean, it's hard to say with the setting spray until I've used it for a long time exactly my thoughts, but I can at least tell you that the mister is nice. It definitely has a fragrance, so if you don't like fragrance, I might stay away. I like that there's 3.4 fluid ounces. I feel like some of these setting sprays have like less than that, and I'm like, seriously? Like, I just spent an arm and a leg on you, because again, even at the drugstore, these are expensive. So I appreciate that, but also that still makes it travel friendly if you wanted it. We're getting to the foundations. I've got 2 more CoverGirl products before I talk about the other stuff. So I got their lid lockup, CoverGirl lid lockup. It's an eyeshadow primer. I did use it today. I think it's pretty good. It's kind of a beige color. It's a little bit tacky, but I do have to wonder how it would perform for someone with oily eyelids, because I think for me, I never really have too many issues with creasing. My lids are just very normal. I do have little bits of like kind of wrinkles, if you will, but that usually doesn't affect the creasing. But I think if you had really oily eyelids, I don't know how this would work. So if you have oily eyelids and you've tried this, let us know below if someone else is kind of contemplating buying it. I just feel like it's okay. I'll use it up, but would I repurchase it? I feel like I like a thicker eye primer. So like the ones you squeeze out of a tube, I like that better. I feel like it holds onto my shadow a little bit better, makes them more vibrant. Now, for the blue portion of my eye look today, I put on like a white eye primer that I patted just on the lid to make it really pop. This would not have done that. I'll tell you that right now. So I do think it's good if there's a sale and you need an eye primer, or you have a coupon, absolutely, I would say it's a good primer. Is it the best one I've tried? No. All right, so kind of a dud already is the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Glow. I bought 2 shades, number 1 and number 3. So these are meant to be a highlighter. Okay, I'm wearing this one today. I think it looks okay. However, you have to work fast to not make this like for example, it feels like almost like a putty, like a structured putty. And I thought, oh, maybe it'll be kind of like the RMS Beauty like Living Luminizer. It's like a little pot, kind of a clear, glossy looking highlighter. You can just tap there. It's so beautiful. I love it. Certainly more expensive than this, probably at least double the price. But it actually packs a little bit more of a punch than that, which I'm like, cool, nothing wrong, that's awesome. But I tried applying it a couple ways. I tried applying it with my finger and I was like, okay, it's not blending in. So I grabbed my sponge quickly to blend it in. It was already set. Like, I'm telling you, seconds. It was already set where it was. So if it looks like I have a strip, I mean, I feel like I do. And every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, I told you, I did not have fun getting ready today. I was so upset. But the biggest gripe I have with this, however, is that there's definite glitter in this. And I know that many people love that. And if you do, then you know this will be your cup of tea. But if you're like me, I don't like that. I like glitter in eyeshadow, but for it to be in my highlight, I think it ages me just a little bit because it really highlights those areas and it's not as neat as what I want it to be. You know what I'm saying? Glitter can tend to, I don't know, catch the light weird and not in the way I want it to, so it just sets quickly and it has glitter, so you've got to know yourself. The other shade I'll show you anyway. This one doesn't seem to have glitter. This one's a little bit too, no, see this one I feel like doesn't have glitter. So the shade number, was this 3? Yeah, shade number 3 does not. So really it's just number 1 that you need to look out for. I don't know about whatever number 2 is, but this one's a little bit deeper. It's really pretty. I would like to use it as an eyeshadow, honestly. But These, I mean, they're okay. Would I recommend them? No. No, I just wouldn't. The more I think about it, I'm like, no, I really wouldn't. There's better stuff out there. Okay, I've got like 5 more products to talk about. Let's talk about the foundations. So the one that gave me so much heck today was the Revlon Photoready Insta-Filter Foundation. I actually bought this a while ago. I did not buy this one at the same time I bought all of these. This one I've probably had maybe a couple weeks, but I hadn't broken it out, actually opened it and used it. So I decided to use it today. I have it in the shade 130 Porcelain. It's a little light for me, but it's probably the closest I'll get to my shade. So you open it, there's this real weird sponge, you know, okay, I can get past it. So you twist the bottom and foundation comes out the top. So you can kind of, oh my gosh, that was a lot. You can kind of stamp it out of there. You can kind of rub it on your face. You can't use this sponge to actually blend it in. So if you're looking at it thinking, oh, no, absolutely not. But what I did is I just kind of stamped it. I just started on my cheek. Just wanted to see how it looked. And then I grabbed a sponge to actually blend it in. It had very light coverage, which, okay, not that big of a deal if that's what you're looking for. But if you are looking for higher coverage, stay away from this one. You won't like it. But if you tried to layer a little more on to have a little more coverage, it would get caught in the weirdest spots. Like, I had weird, like, dots all along my forehead. It was like stuck in my eyebrow. And there have been a few foundations I've tried within the past year that have done that. And I'm like, I can't stand it. Because there's almost no way to fix it unless you just straight up wipe it off, or, you know, I'm using the clean end of the sponge, or I'm grabbing brushes, and you can kind of make it work. But once a lot of it is set, it's set unless you completely start over or wipe that whole area off. If you have a job that you need to get ready for quickly in the morning or whenever, you probably don't have the time to start over, you know? Especially if you like do your eyes first and then, I don't know. Anyway, so with that in mind, I was just so frustrated because I'm like, is that my skin? And I'm like, I don't feel, and you can still see a little bit. I don't know that, it was very unflattering, just really unimpressed. And again, this was freaking creeping up above $15 from what I remember. So I would not recommend it. I honestly don't know that I even want to use it again. I might maybe try one more time and use just a brush and see if maybe the brush or my fingers, but ooh, that was not fun. So one that I put basically on top of it today, and what you're pretty much seeing on my face today, is the new Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Foundation. This definitely has way more coverage. I have it in the shade 110 Porcelain. Again, a pretty good match for me. It definitely is full coverage. I applied it with a sponge and I think it looked nice. Is it totally flawless? Not really. Is it my favorite foundation? Not really. But is it pretty darn good? Yes. And if you're looking for a more affordable, maybe with a coupon, foundation, I would say absolutely this is one of the better ones at the drugstore. Some of the full coverage ones at the drugstore can really cling to dry patches if you have dry skin like me, especially in the winter time. But this one wasn't as bad, and for that I really do appreciate it. So again, I want to try this out some more and see how I feel about it. Another one I picked up was the Almay Best Blend Forever makeup. This also has 1 ounce, but it feels so light compared to the other, I guess because it's plastic. But yet again, it has a sponge. What's going on? Like, why is everyone into this? Like, I'm not. I think it's weird. And I get maybe it's, you know, kind of new and gimmicky, but you squeeze this one. I almost forgot how to do it. And it comes up. So I think I like the squeeze better. Anyway, doesn't matter. But this one I actually kind of liked. However, they really don't have a good shade range. Almay is notorious for that. And I don't know, like, I did actually like it. So if you could find your range. Now again, this is not super high coverage. The coverage is probably on par with the Revlon, maybe a little bit better. But it just, for my dry skin, made my skin look somewhat healthy, and I liked it. So it kind of reminded me more of a BB cream than a foundation. Best blend. I mean, I did think it blended decently well. Again, is it a favorite of mine? I'm not sure yet. I want to use it some more, but But it did look nice, and it does have SPF of 40, which I think is pretty cool too. Next thing I picked up from Almay's new line is their Liquid Lash Extenders Mascara. This is a very standard drugstore mascara. I think it's pretty good, but again, I found too many more amazing foundations like the Essence Lash Princess, the Lash Paradise Mascara. All of those are so much better than this. I find it hard to recommend it, you know, but it's okay. I like the brush, kind of more of a natural bristle brush, very, you know, known for kind of volumizing. What I noticed about it the few times I've used it so far is that it definitely hardens once it's dry, which a lot of mascaras do, but my favorite ones don't. And it's funny because my favorite ones that I just mentioned, they don't really harden too much and they hold a curl better. So it's like, the hardening, you almost wonder if it's like weighing them down. I don't know. You'd think it would hold the curl better. So I don't think it held a curl very well. It volumized okay, but again, not anywhere near what those other two mascaras do in terms of volume and separation and holding a curl. So for that reason, I don't think it was like a terrible mascara. I think, you know, I went through the day and I would check in the mirror and I'm like, it looks okay. I mean, it didn't change a ton from when I put it on, but I didn't love the way it looked after putting it on anyway. And I put on maybe two, I think I tried for a third and it was like pretty dry and I'm like, so just kind of standard. Another product is this Milani Instant Touch-Up Blur Stick. This, in my head, was going to be similar to the Milk Makeup Blur Stick, and it really is. It's a little bit more of a thinner consistency. It definitely has that kind of velvety feel when you rub it between your fingers. It's totally transparent. The way I used it today is just on my nose and in this area. Basically anywhere you have pores that you want to kind of fill in, kind of smooth the area out. I think it did pretty well. If you're on a budget, you know, you don't need to go buy the Milk Makeup Stick. I think it's pretty good, but I don't think it's like earth-shattering, like, oh my gosh, your pores have never... I think it helps with your pores, but I think this does too. Do I think they're exact dupes for each other? No. They're definitely a different formula, but a very similar effect at the end of the day, which is really what you're going for with your makeup look, right? So those were all of the new products that I've purchased recently. Every once in a while I'll go to the drugstore and purchase little things here and there, and I don't always haul them. So there's a lot more that I'm kind of trying that I might not have mentioned in a video. But if there's anything new out there that you would love for me to pick up and review for my channel, please let me know down below. And I hope that you will subscribe and like the video if you did. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.